Hi folks, thanks for joining me today. I've come to Manningford trout fishery. It's only a couple of days after the travel restrictions here in the UK have been lifted, and I've decided to come here for a couple of reasons. It's a fantastic fishery with hard fighting fish in the Stillwater, but also there's a good stretch of the River Avon running alongside it. So it's a simple plan really. I'm going to spend a couple of hours on the bank fishing the Stillwater, and then in the afternoon I'm going to hit the river, hopefully for a bit of dry fly sport. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here I'm on Manor Lake at the moment, and it's absolutely chock-a-block with anglers, and already I've seen multiple rods bending into fish. It looks like the sport's going to be hectic. While I'm here today, I thought it would be a good idea to put this line through its paces. So Airflo have sent me their new floater. It's a weight forward 8, and I've coupled it with a 7 weight RS2. So I'll let you know how I get on with that. Well, it's been a long time since I've fished. I've not cast a line since Christmas Eve, but I'm all tackled up now. I've stuck the Airflo line onto my reel. I've got also I'm using the Airflo tapered leader just to see what it's like. I've got to say, when I put this on to the line, I was quite impressed with how supple it was. Felt really good, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs on the water itself. Just let's hope I can remember how to cast. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm well back from the edge of the water. Now, with Manningford, that has a little trench going round the edge of the fishery, and often you can catch fish just at your feet. So you don't want to be rushing straight up to the bank's edge and trying to launch your fly line to the middle, because the deeper water's closer in. I've been a wee bit unfortunate this morning because the fishery's so busy. I've got a peg with the wind blowing into my face, so it'll be interesting to see if I can get any kind of turnover into the wind. But I'm sure if I can get my fly presented properly, I'll be able to catch fish here. So let's have a look and see how we get on. I'm actually achieving quite good turnover with this tapered leader, even into the wind. That's quite impressive. Now this is the universal taper, and I always go a weight up with my floaters on my rods, because I think nowadays the modern fast action rods, they just need that line weight up to help get the turnover. I've been fishing with the new Airflo line for about an hour and a half. I've been mightily impressed. Even though it's still very cold, the line seems to sit straight on the water. A lot of problems this time of year especially is the floaters are like a little slinkies, and certainly Airflo's had its fair share of criticism in the past about slinky lines. But I've found this one really good. It's not been an issue. It casts no problem. I've been casting into the wind with it without much difficulty. To be fair, I am using a weight forward 8 floater with this 7 weight rod, so that may be one of the reasons it's casting so well. But I've found it really good, and the tapered leader that I'm using, it's 8.5 feet and it tapers down. It's so supple, you get excellent turnover, and it's been really good. I've been wholly impressed with it. Now, I've fished with lots of different floating lines, and I would always say that the best one I've ever used is a Rio Perception, but at over £100, would you really want to be spending that kind of money? I mean, my fishing rods barely cost that much, never mind the fly lines. So I think the The Airflo lines, they're not cheap either. You know, I think these are coming in about £60, which maybe I'm just getting old and prices have moved on, but I still think £60 is quite a lot of money for a fly line. But this one is performing as well as any I've used. I'm currently using the Witchwood Rocket Taper, and that's an excellent casting line. Now, because the fishery's been so busy today, I found it quite difficult to get to a peg where the wind is at my back, so I've had real problems throwing long lines because I've just not had the opportunity, but I'm sure it will do that just as well. Well, I had an absolutely fabulous time on the lake. It was so good after so long to get such a pool. Had some cracking fish out of the Manningford Manor Lake, and I've put that kit away now though, because I want to spend a bit of time on the river. This morning when I done my little bit of a recce, it was a little coloured, but it's clearing up really nice, and I'm expecting plenty of sport as the days started to warm up. Well, I've got to the river, I've got my rod, it's set up, but I've not tackled up yet. I've been sitting watching the river for about 10 minutes and I've not seen anything rising, but that's a little discouraging, but it is still quite early. I think it's only about 11:30ish, so there's still time yet. I don't see any fly life coming off the water, but I'm sure my time will come. I've just got to take my chances when they do come. And after 3 months of no fishing, I'm probably more than a little rusty. So we've had 3 months to get our kit ready, and somehow I've still managed to forget to put the mud in my chest pack. Unbelievable. Fail before I've even started. Well, I've got my first fish in the net off the river, and invariably it's an out of season grayling, so let's get it straight back. Well, I'm not going to lie, my river fishing's been shockingly poor. When I got to the Stillwater this morning and I picked the rod up, I should have really been out on the grass giving the casting a practice, but I seem to get back into it no problem at all. But on the river, oh, what a different kettle of fish. I've really struggled with casting. There's a pretty fierce upstream breeze, but that's no excuse. I mean, I've left so many flies in trees, and all I've got to show for my efforts are 3 grayling. So yeah, not doing so well. I think I'm going to have a bite to eat and then reinvigorate myself and try and catch some brown trout after the break. Well, I've had a bite to eat, bit of cake, some water, and I'm feeling refreshed and ready to go at it again. I'm hopeful that I can get a brown trout in my net. I wouldn't like to blank on my first session. It just doesn't bode well for the rest of the season then, does it? But we'll see how we get on. I'm sure one will come along. One stupid one. Well, I don't mind telling you folks, I thought I was going to blank today on this river, but a little stupid wildie's come along and spared my blushes. Let's have a wee look at him going back. Well, now we're off the mark, let's see if I can't get some more. Well, after a slow start, they are getting a little bigger. Well, that's my afternoon over. It was definitely a game of two halves. So in the afternoon, the weather got a little bit better, a few hatches came off and the fish started to really join in. I've had about a dozen wildies, nothing huge, maybe 10 inches, but you know what? It's great to get back out after all that time stuck in the house tying flies. And most of them flies are now in trees, I might add, but hey, that's part of fishing, isn't it? So I'm heading back to the car now. There's still plenty of light and I just thought I might try the big lake again before I go home, but I'll see how I feel when I get the car. Well, what can I say? What a day. It's great to be back on the water. I've really enjoyed myself. Manningford was the perfect choice today. The lake fished its socks off. I couldn't believe how many people were here. And it was really great to see a coach taking two young lads out on the water and just getting them up to speed on fishing, and they seemed really enthusiastic and I saw them catching plenty of fish, so that bodes well for the future of the sport. The river, it was a little tricky in the morning, I've got to say it. It's like I'd forgotten how to fish a river and I really struggled. Plenty of grayling, but the brown trout wouldn't come. But I had a bite to eat in the afternoon, wandered up, and the wild trout were on fantastic form in the afternoon. Got several to dry fly, nothing big mind, only 10 inches or so, but still great sport. I'm going to make my way home now, about an hour and 20 minutes in the car. But I've really enjoyed myself, and I must say thank you to Manningford Trout Fisheries for hosting me today and keeping my morale up when it was pretty low, when I wasn't catching many fish. I hope you've enjoyed my day's fishing as much as I have. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please think about clicking that button. I would really appreciate your support.